Alright, I'm going to steal this off louder with Crowder. It is hot. God dang. Ow. Circle K coffee. Well, Circle K. There you go. Anyway. Great coffee because there ain't nothing to sweep here. Why are you sweeping here? The road's pretty damn clean. I mean, there might be a little dust on the side. Anyway, well, Circle K coffee. They grind it and brew it all at the same time, so it's pretty good coffee. And they have different beans. Anyway, I'm doing something out of, I don't know where. Kumantar. I don't know. Some goofy name like that. Anyway, it's good coffee though. Alright, the reason I'm doing this video is because a while back I told you a little bit. I told who I was when I first started this channel. By the way, TTCW stands for the True Cowboy Way. And it used to be the Cowboy Way, but I couldn't use that because apparently there was other people that had it. And the movie came out, but the movie didn't use it like I did. But anyway, so. And in the movie, I'm more like Woody Harrelson. But, and the reason I call myself a cowboy, or I've been called a cowboy, is because I used to ride and break horses when I was younger. I used to do some crazy stuff, of course. There's a street sweeper again, going down that way. And he'll probably come back down this way in a few minutes. Anyway, so, me and my dad used to do it. My dad was a cop for Altus, Oklahoma. And we had 10 acres of land outside of Blair. And he would go to work from 10 at night to 6 in the morning and come home, and he'd go to bed and wake up, and he started working with horses. We started out with 4 horses. We had Dusty. We had... No, we didn't. Yeah, we had Dusty. We had... Bit. We had Deke. And we had Speck. And Speck was Shetland. He lived Shetland. He's solid black except for a little white on his feet and a little big old speck on his butt. And he thought he was a big horse. He's tough. He was a tough horse. Anyway, that's the reason I been called cowboy, because I used to ride and break horses for a while, and then I just took up the name. And sometimes it's good to create your own nickname so nobody else gives you the nickname. But anyway, so did that. Grew up as a kid in Blair, Oklahoma. I grew up a little bit in Texas and North Carolina, but mainly in Altus and Blair. I went 3rd grade in Altus and 4th grade and 12th grade in Blair. And Blair is that small, so it's a very small town. It has kindergarten through 12th grade in the same building. Let's see. Anyway, so grew up there, and then when I turned 18, actually, when I was turning 18, I went to the MEP station. Now, I signed up right before I turned 18, and then the late entry program, but because I had to get out of high school for one, and went to MEPS and scored on my test. I don't remember what I scored. I know it was high enough to have like 10 or 15 jobs, so I guess I scored a little above average. And then the only thing I didn't have was a lot of math, so I couldn't go nuke. But pretty much everything else. I ended up being took MM, realized I didn't want to be an MM, I wanted to be a BT for some reason. So I ended up being a BT in the Navy. Jesus. Anyway, ended up being a BT in the Navy. And then went in the Navy, did some stuff, and then got out. Well, I kind of got asked to leave. I got a other than honorable discharge, an OTH, but didn't get a dishonorable in it. because of what I'd done, they necessarily couldn't give me a dishonorable. But anyway, that's another story for another time. And then after the Navy, I hung out in Jacksonville, Florida. Went to the Institute of Security and Technology, which is a school for training to be, it's like a security officer, but it gave bodyguard, carpool, a whole bunch of stuff involved with that. Carpool, which means, taking people from one place to another, important people. And hostage negotiation. We did a little bit of that in that school. And it was a 3-month program. And then they gave me qualification for a shooting, and I shot, out of 400, I shot 396. So that was a pretty good shot. Left a hole in the target where the heart would have been, about that big around. So, and then they tried to count some of the bullets that were way off, and I was like, that's not my shots, because everybody was shooting. We were, in the shooting range, and I was like, and they were on the outsides of my targets. I'm like, really? I got a hole that big right at the heart, and you think that I put those at the outside? And I could have pulled it wrong. I could have done something, but I talked to men, and I ended up with 396. Because there's probably a lot of bullets that went through that hole, because I swear to you that hole was that big a target. And then I got asked to work with a group of people that we weren't associated necessarily with any initials, but I spent time in Panama. I spent time in Nicaragua, and also Cuba, and Colombia. And on the other side of Cuba, not on the American side of Cuba. And what was the other town? Brazil. Been a short time in Brazil. But anyway, beautiful women in Brazil. Even the women that you don't see on TV, they're still beautiful. And no, I didn't go to the tourist area, except for I was in a tourist area in kind of sort of tourist area in Panama. But it was right outside of Panama City. But and then I came back to America, and I did that for about a year and a half. And came back to America, and then I started hanging out with people again there in Altus, and then started getting my life back together and stuff. And the reason I'm telling you this is to tell you who I am. And then, I bopped around from Phoenix to Altus for a while. Did some jobs. I worked at a carnival one time. I sold Kirby's door-to-door, vacuum cleaner. I also did Sensation door-to-door, which is simple green, but it was just simple. It just like Simple Green, but it wasn't Simple Green. It was another product that was trying to be like Simple Green. And I went door-to-door spraying stuff, cleaning stuff, and it does take tattoo ink out of cars, or out of carpet. Where are all these people coming from? They're just stopping. Anyway, so I did all this stuff, and then I finally settled down and I started working at the airport, and then worked as a wheelchair runner at the airport, and then I started getting into doing construction work. Was a framer, was a roof rat, did some sheetrock, taping and bedding. Of course, I worked with my dad when I was young. He taught me how to mess with concrete a little bit, because he used to work for Hammond Concrete there in Altus. Supposedly helped build half the bridges there in southwest Oklahoma. And then he did all this stuff, and he taught me through the years of certain things that he trained me to be a cop most of my life, or as I was growing up. He would ask me questions like, what did you notice that was out of place in the grocery store? And at first I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And now, to this day, I always look for stuff that's out of place at the grocery store. Like you see a 6-pack of Coke where the bread aisle is, or, some candy, a bag of candy where the vegetables are, or if the vegetable cans are out of order, or that's what I would look for. And to this day, I still do that. And I do it to other people. I was like, did you see what was out of order? And they look at me like I'm crazy. But it's funny. I don't do it all the time now. I do it a lot, but I don't do it all the time. I probably do it like 49% of the time, at least half. And most of the time I do it myself. So I catch things that are out of the ordinary. Guy here, bee or whatever you are, trying to fly around. And then, so now I've been driving for a while. I was married once, married for 7 years, and tried to commit suicide once. So I know about depression. I still handle it every once in a while. I still have it every once in a while. I don't talk about it much, but the reason I'm doing it now. I spent 3 days in ICU for it. It was my stupidity, and I shouldn't have done that. And that was years ago. It's like close to 20 years ago. What else have I done? I've alienated most of the people I know. Because it just, I haven't changed over the years. I'm the same person that I was 25 years ago. I had to learn how to be an asshole. And now that I am an asshole, I hate it. But it's me. And I try to help. I try not to be as aggressive as I used to be. Aggressive as in, like, when I catch people lying, I say, you're lying. And, oh, no, I'm not. Yeah, you're lying. Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you didn't tell the whole truth, or you left a whole bunch of shit out that you should have said in it. Or certain things about certain people, and it just, people are pieces of shit. I'm going to tell you right now, and if you ever watch Jordan Peterson, he says it a lot more tactfully, but most people are pieces of shit. Everybody goes, oh, everybody's naturally good. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They don't really care. Even to this day, if my ex-wife was still alive, and no, I didn't kill her. She died of blood clot to the brain, I believe. To the brain or to the lungs. One or the other. I don't know the true story about it, because nobody will ever tell me. But when I have a daughter, beautiful daughter, I haven't got to see her in a long time, and she lives a mile away from me. I periodically stop by the house, or where she lives, and I try to get enough nerve to go up there and talk to her. But one of these days, maybe I will. And I better do it quick, because she turned 18 this year, and she, as far as I know, she's still in high school, so, because they waited too long to put her in school, kind of like me. I was 18 in December of my senior year. She would have been 18 in February, this past February, 23rd. Anyway, so I would tell people, hey, dude, I'll take a bullet for you. I don't care. And that's what I mean. Truly what I mean. If there was a random shooter shooting something and we happen to be in the same spot, I would take that bullet for you. I would jump in front of you. I would get you out of there. I would get a whole bunch of people out of there if I could. But I would definitely get that person out of there if I could. And I would stay between me and it. And See, and that's why I don't understand about people, you know, you hear about all these shootings and stuff like that, and you hear about all these tough people that are around, and no, they're not. They're scared. They're frightened. Everybody's frightened. There are very few people like me. And yeah, I'm ex-military. You can't use that as the premise. Sorry, my seat's starting to shrink a little bit. You can't use that as the premise that, oh, yeah, that's why. No. Even I've seen military people scared of guns afterwards. I have a buddy that I've had on this show a few times.
The hell?
Or had him on videos a few times, and he never went shooting with me. I wanted to see if he could shoot. I take all the people that say they're ex-military that I run into and then I become friends with, whatever. I just go to the range and shoot. Come find out they can't shoot with shit. I'm like, or maybe I just shoot good, but that I don't know. I mean, I grew up shooting. I grew up playing in the pasture because 10 acres, not every part is filled with horses. And at one time we had 25 head of horses, so we had quite a few horses at one time. We were raising, breaking, foaling out. Foaling out means that you're having colts and you're getting them weaned and selling them. That's foaling out. There's a difference between colts. There's a horse colt, which is a boy, and then there's a filly, which is a little girl horse. Then you got mares once they have a baby. Excuse me. And then, anyway, I would go out in the pasture, and my dad had an old 22 single-action revolver. It was, I don't know if it was old. It had plastic grips on it, so it was plastic cheap-ass grips. But I don't know if it was old necessarily, but it was a few years old. Probably as old as me at the time. Probably 18 years, 19 years old, maybe even older. But it was able to accept regular 22 and long rifle. And not 22 mag, though. And then I would actually put rack shot in it and go out in the pasture. And I'd walk through the pasture, and when a grasshopper would fly up, I would draw and try to fire, you know, from the hip. Never hit a grasshopper. But it got me to where I could know how to draw and fire. And then Keith Decker's dad, you know, I know everybody's buddy, he showed us a different way of learning how to draw fast. Because he liked to play with guns. He liked to use, you know, train with guns. But he would hold the gun out, or hold the can out in front of me, straight arm. What you do is you hold the can out, straight arm, flat, a flat can, not round, a flat can. And you'd reach, grab your gun and try to hit the can before it hit, you have it at eye level, and then you try to hit it at, you hold it like this at eye level, and then you try to hit it with the gun before it got down to your hip, and that was a pretty quick draw. Well, so I got pretty good at that. I never drawed a lot when I used guns, and yes, I've been shot at, yes, I've been stabbed, never been hit by a bullet, maybe grazed. I got blown up 3 times. That sucked. First time was to learn how it felt like to get blown up. I mean, we had, you know, padding on and stuff like that, protective cover, flight gear, and we also had a couple bulletproof vests. Not a couple, one bulletproof vest. There's 2 of us, and then I still get shards that come up. If you look at my arm, there's a couple, and they keep on coming up, always in those 2 spots. So there's something in there that I don't know. Periodically, I get stuff on my chest. I get like turned-in hairs. Come to find out, it's not turned-in hairs. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like, I got little tiny scars. I got blown up. The first time I was protected. The other 2 times it was not protected. And that 3rd time, I nearly bought it. It took me shit. Truly a whole week to get all my senses back. Hell, my hearing is gone. My left, I feel like I have a earplug in this one. And this one's still pretty good, but it's starting to get bad. I hear a constant ringing in my ear all the time. It's like white noise. Which, maybe that's why I'm crazy. There's there's some of the stuff in my past that causes me not to give a shit a lot of time because of, I guess I'm a sociopath. Not a sociopath as to want to go out and hurt people. A sociopath is I really just don't give a shit. It upset me when my dad died, but I cried once. I had to sit there and think about it. If I didn't think about it, and to this day, I still think about it and pissed off that I wasn't there when he passed away. Because it just sucks. Anyway, and then my aunt passed away. I loved her to death, Aunt Kay. And it seemed like nobody cared. Nobody cared that I was there. Hell, I'm the only one. I mean, Dawn was there. And of course, her 2 sons. Still want my flag back, assholes. That's my dad's flag. But I don't even know if they're still alive. I know Dawn, I think, is still alive. Aunt Lee would say something. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if my aunt's still alive. She's at the... And it's my fault. But I don't think about them as much. I don't think about him as much. Like I said, he'd come back. Because he has no fucking else where to go. Anyway, so I just want to let y'all know who I am. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes I'm crazy. I don't really care about people. I don't. I wish I did. There's some people that I truly care about, but they really don't give a shit about me. They think they do, but they don't. I got somebody the other day, when I'm gone, will they miss me? And she couldn't answer the question. Because I'm afraid that she would think that she would be more like a human if she did it. But I think it's because she cares about me more than she says she does. But, that's another story. And, well, sometimes I wish I cared more. I do get emotional sometimes. Sometimes I do. Puppy dogs, kitty cats, when they get hurt or when you see one laying on the side of the road or something like that, I don't like that. I don't like puppy dogs dying. And kitty cats and animals and stuff like that. Unless I'm going hunting. Hey! Little hummingbird. Nice! I'm going to get him some snacks over there. Is water over there? It's about ready to go. There's a hummingbird that flies around here, and he goes over. Yeah, I'll show it. Let's see if I can show it. I don't know if you can see it with this, but there's a wall over there. And he's over there by that tree right now. He's working his way down the wall. I think he's getting bugs. I think there's like ants that crawl up and down that wall. And if you go along there, he'll come back. There he is. I don't know if you can see it like that, but maybe you can see it like that. But way off in the distance. Anyway, he's here every day. And and that's pretty cool. I get to see him. And I don't get to see him every day because I'm usually gone early. But today it seems like a slow day. Anyway, so I want to just let people know who I am. When I talk about something, I know what I'm talking about. Like when I talked about the gas prices of ethanol not being the answer, adding more ethanol or keep on adding ethanol, it drops your gas mileage. It does considerably. Like I said, gasoline flashpoint is a lot lower or a lot higher than ethanol. Ethanol flashes at an easier deal. You can actually put you can actually put cigarette out in gasoline as long as it's cold. Can't do it when it's hot because the vapors would catch. But if you do it when it's cold, then it'll go out. Ethanol, you wouldn't be able to do that. Ethanol would light instantly with a cigarette. But anyway, and when I talk about other things, come to find out, all the videos, and there's a couple videos that got taken off or marked off as misinformation, that come to find out it was truth, and I knew what I was talking about, and that, but they'll never put them back on. This is YouTube. Oh, and I'm glad Elon Musk finally took over, because hopefully he does believe in free speech. That sounds like I'm stuttering. But anyway, Friendly Cowboy, y'all have a good day. And I know you're hearing a tapping every once in a while. It's my nervous reaction I've gotten in the past 3-4 years. I've doing that and tapping my foot a lot. It's only my right foot. My left foot don't do it. It's just my right foot. So maybe I have a neurological disorder or problem. Y'all have a good day. Friendly Cowboy. And be nice to yourself. Can't be nice to yourself, be nice to the neighbor. Can't be nice to the neighbor. Try to be nice to yourself for being nice to the neighbor. And watch where you're driving. You know, people seem like, I know, granted, when I was a kid, I was in a hurry too, but I never cut trucks off. I've seen one of these days I'm going to film me getting cut off all day long. And they don't realize, I don't have a big truck. I have a 26 this cab truck. I have a 26 foot cab on the back. So in actuality, we're right around, what? Close to 35 feet, 34 feet. Anyway, so there's got to be a distant stop, especially if I have a load. I can hold up to 10,000 pounds. There's got to be a distant stop when I have weight on here. And even if I don't have weight on here, this thing can't stop on a dime. So all y'all people that are driving like crazy, cutting in front of people, y'all need to watch that, especially in front of trucks. The reason there's a 30, 40, 50, 60-foot gap between me and the next car is the stopping area. It's not for you to switch in there real quick and try to get further up in the world of race car or something like that. It's so that we can have time to stop. So if you pull in that spot, we got to back up a little further. More, and it happens to all the time. It happens to me all the time. I'll sometimes have, in the course of a day, 10, 15 cars get in between me and the car in front of me, just driving a 10-mile section, because they don't know that there has to be a spot between. And that's why we have so many rear-ended. And when it gets here, when they get rear-ended, people get rear-ended, there's like 4 or 5 cars into their accident because everybody goes boom, 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 boom. And because nobody gives any space anymore. Give cotton picket space. And I love it that they're widening the freeways and stuff. It's just going to make for a bigger raceway. It's going to make it look like the Indy 500. Except for, instead of 2 cars side by side, it's going to be 10 cars side by side. Anyway. Try to be nice on the road. I know there's road rage. I know there's idiots out there. Pulled in today to get gas. There was an idiot watching this video like this, driving into the gas station. Watching the video, holding it, and I'm like, what the? It makes me want to go up to people and just slap them upside the head. Hell, I wouldn't even care if I got into a fight. You look at the back of my knuckles, I've had a few fights in my life. Or back of my hand, my knuckles. Got more scars on my right than my left. I got teeth marks. That's another story. I have a few things, and that's why I don't have as many teeth as I normally should have. And granted, my teeth are not the greatest in the world. My mom's teeth fell out when she was young. Hell, her teeth fell out supposedly after my brother was born, and that was shit 30, 40 years ago. I'm 53, so he's 47. 48 years ago. And then, so she's 72, or 73 now. Coming up on 73, or coming up on 74. Coming up on 74. Her birthday is September 29th. My dad's was January 3rd. Carrie's, my stepsister, I know hers July 10th. Mine's 21st December. Anyway, Friendly Cowboy, y'all have a good day. Hope you learned a little bit about me.